Morning 26. It's actually heating up a little bit out here. I maybe not even should have to be wearing my hoodie. But we're going to get right in after this. I woke up this morning, man. Last night I had this weird dream that I was constipated. And I've had dreams before where, you're peeing in your dream and you wake up and you're wet in the bed. So after I woke up from my dream, I was expecting there to be shit everywhere, but there wasn't. But I did have to use the bathroom, a big time number two from my crazy constipation dream. So who the heck knows where that comes from? I have absolutely no idea. But I mean, I've never had a dream like that before, so I wanted to share it. So when we wake up, we're going to try to avoid doing what I did this morning, which is just sit in my chair. I only did it for like 10 or 15 minutes, but we need to go right into hydration, to sunlight, to blood oxidation levels rising, because that is what's going to do away with the mental fog. When you get blood, oxygen in your blood, that's why we're doing some form of like physical activity, even if it's just some burpees or just some push-ups. But at least 16 ounces of water, even if it's in a microplastic bottle. And then yesterday I did my first electrolyte pack. Couldn't afford to go get another one. They're like almost $3 a piece. So we're gonna go back to a quarter tablespoon pink Himalayan salt right in on top. Let's go. Man, I think what I'm gonna do is get one of those liquid IVs. Since I did an LMNT for my electrolyte pack yesterday, I'll do a liquid IV and maybe compare and contrast the two, see which one I like better. I mean, the pink Himalayan salt, it definitely works, and I really actually kind of like it. But we'll see, we'll see. That hits exactly the way it's supposed to. 16 ounces of water, 500 milligrams of some sodium from pink Himalayan salt. It does taste like salt water, like a little bit of a sludge. But after you do it long enough, I mean, I've been doing this longer than 26 days with the mixing of the salt water. It's an acquired taste, and not only is it an acquired taste, it's kind of one you actually like and almost crave. Anyway, let's get into some burpees. Man, these cats always trip me out, bro. Like, there's so many times when I'm making videos and like they jump up and like swat the camera and stuff like that. But you can't hate on them, man. They're cool, and plus they keep the rat population down. I consider them to be like my biggest cheerleaders. When in all actuality, they're just probably hanging out because they want some food. But who freaking cares? And they probably watch more of my videos. Wow. Only 10 burpees, 20, 25 push-ups, something like that. Nothing crazy, but definitely feeling better, man. Let's get this shirt off, bro. It's hot. Shirt off, feeling a little bit better. Still kind of hassling here. No gym for me today. I guess this is like a work day. I mean, a rest day and a work day because I got to do a lot of yard work. So I'm always a little bit out of habit when I don't go to the gym. It's such a, you hear the term iron therapy, and it's true. I mean, when you do something long enough and it becomes a part of you and your lifestyle, when you don't do it, something doesn't seem right. But it's nice to take a break every once in a while. Plus, the day after a rest day, I usually come back and I'm even more motivated because, you feel bad because you missed a day. But I got so much work around here that I need to be doing anyway. So it'll be good. But so much of my personal identity has been uh, built on going to the gym. That's why I harp, to other people, and I'm always preaching to myself too. That identity, understanding who it is you are, what it is you're about, is so important because when we try to have relationships with people, not just like boyfriend, girlfriend, or husband, wife, but just having friendship relationships with people, so much of the value of that relationship is based off of our authentic self. How much of ourself are we willing to expose and share with other people? A lot of that will depend on how many relationships we have. And some of us, like me, we choose to have very few, even friends. Uh, but when you embrace sort of that sincere self, what you're doing is you're actually forming a fence around you, almost like a protection barrier. And the more honest you are with yourself and to other people, what it'll do is it'll attract the ones you want in your life and it'll repel the ones you don't want. A lot of times when we fall into the habit of people pleasing all the time, it, we get a whole lot of activity because we're telling people what they want to hear. So it's easy for them to invite us somewhere if they're just going to surround themselves by a bunch of yes men. So you definitely don't want to become that. Uh, it's okay to go along and kind of go with the flow to an extent because you don't want to make waves. But then there gets to be a point in time where enough is enough, and that's an individual thing that you're going to have to answer for yourself. But if you're like me, I don't know, maybe like 5 or 6 years ago, about the time of COVID, that was a big life shift for a lot of people, myself included. And my circle just got super small, and I don't mind it at all. During that time, in the last 6 years, I think I've had maybe one person that I consider like a mentor. And it was so funny. This guy, he's awesome. Uh, Obviously like a multimillionaire dude. So he's more of like a lifestyle finance mentorship guy. And it was nothing official. I just worked for him for several years, but I learned a lot from him. I went over to paint his house one day. Got over there at like 10:30, and he's just waking up. He's still got his robe on. He comes sashaying out on the deck. So I asked him, I was like, hey, what time do you wake up? Because I'm under this false impression, that we all are, that he's up at 4 a.m., you know, doing his workout, doing his Bible reading, meditation, whatever, man. I don't know. But he told me, he said, oh man, I hate the morning. He said, I finally got into a position in my life where I bypass the morning. He said, I just sleep right through it. He said, I probably don't lay down and go to sleep till 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning, 4 or 5 a.m. He says, I just sleep right through the morning. He said, now I wake up at about lunchtime and I feel my best. Bro, that was like a game changer for me because I knew him and I knew he still had structure to his day. Obviously, he knows who he is. He knows how to act and conduct himself because he has the outcome, the financial blessings that I can see. So when I saw him and the formula that he had, that's kind of when I first started taking notes in terms of you've got to maximize your day. You've got to have a structure to your day, but you don't have to be someone who gets up, at 2 o'clock in the morning or the Wes Watson 2:45 a.m. wake up call. And bro, I know I've talked about him before, and he's crashing out now. But there was so much motivation and discipline that you could learn, just from his example, and so much you can learn now with his crash out as well. I mean, obviously he completely removed the structure that he was dead set, on hitting each and every day. But like I'm saying, you just don't have to be up when the sun rises in order to, tackle your day, in order to be productive. What you do have to do is know who you are, and that sense of identity, that self development, the process of taking your current actual self and helping this person meet your ideal self, that whole process, each and every day, we got to get closer to the end goal. And what we're doing is we're taking small steps, non negotiable daily habits. We're doing them each and every day, trying to get just a little bit closer to who it is we know we should be. That person is our potential. That's the fulfilled self, the person that, when we talk to people and we fantasize about who it is we'll be in 5, 10 years, that's the person that we're talking about. But we can't be that person if we don't have a plan, and we can't execute that plan until we decide to get up and start